shit's in the safe. Got me a spot out the way. Nigga just trying to be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
Rusher in the history of college football.
That is awesome.
And Minnesota's dream season ends here at Kinnick.
He's down. And Tua's down.
Tua suffered a dislocated right hip. He is not expected to play again this season.
We hate it that he got injured. We hate it for him. We hate it for his family. And our thoughts and prayers are with him.
Doppelganger?
Yes.
That play is why Trevor Lawrence will be the first pick in the NFL draft.
You kick him out the building, man. They should never come back here.
That is a sick grab. Touchdown, Buckeyes. Penn State still alive. Burrow throws. Jamar Chase wide open. Touchdown.
10-0. Can't get any better.
And this one is intercepted.
Remember for what you do in November, so it's a big time win today.
After review, it is a touchdown, Florida. And we're Eagles. Bad throw. That might seal it.
How about them dogs?
Yeah, wild Saturday across college football, and once all the action had played out, this is how it looks right now in the top 10 in the AP poll. I'm about to sneeze on national television. Oh, I saved it. Thank you.
Nice.
So this is how it looks like, but of course you got the other poll coming out in a couple days or whatever. But here's the real question. In terms of the college football playoff, Heather Dinich, how did Saturday change that outcome?
With Utah's convincing win over UCLA and Oregon's win against Arizona, the Pac-12 is in prime position for that fourth spot, assuming that both of those teams win out, meet each other in the Pac-12 Conference Championship game, and then leave Alabama for the conference champion winner in the Pac-12 to get that fourth spot. The injury to Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa impacts this situation, but also Oklahoma winning at Baylor impacts it as well, because now the Big 12 is guaranteed a one-loss conference champion. It's hard to ignore the Pac-12 given how well both Utah and Oregon are playing right now.
All right, Heather, question.
Like, I get it. Like, the winner of Pac-12 might get that fourth spot. But you don't know what the committee gonna do. They probably gonna go to Georgia for that fourth spot. Oregon and Utah deserve it because the way they've been playing. They playing like Georgia. But Georgia has some mishaps during this season. So they might go with Oregon or Utah because they both be having convincing wins in their conference. So anyone of them coming at Pac-12 might get that fourth spot over Georgia. Because, the committee going to go over how you played on the field. And, Georgia had some mishaps on the field that could have cost them a games. And this Oregon and Utah been having convincing wins all this season.
See the new rankings coming up on ESPN. New information into SportsCenter here in the last 20 minutes or so. Tua Tagovailoa being flown to Houston tonight to be evaluated and then prepped for surgery, which is scheduled for Monday to deal with that hip injury he suffered in that win over Mississippi State. Alabama says that they anticipate a full recovery. Of course, he would be eligible to enter the NFL draft next spring if he so chose.
Then the app where coverage beginning at 6 with Monday Night Countdown. Now, last year's game was moved to LA Coliseum because of poor field conditions. With an update on the current conditions, there's John Sutcliffe.
Last year's cancellation because of poor conditions of the field in Azteca Stadium was an embarrassment for the stadium, for Mexico. It's been defined to me like the perfect storm. They host more than 60 soccer games a year, concerts, the constant rain. And last year they tried to put in a hybrid grass that usually works in European stadiums. 90% natural, 10% synthetic. It didn't work, especially with the high altitude in Mexico City. Two things have been learned for this year's game. They changed a 40-year-old drainage system with the latest technology, and they also, with the help of the NFL, put a field with 100% natural grass. I've been coming to this stadium for years, and I haven't seen this field tan perfecta, so perfect. So they're ready for Chiefs Chargers and Monday Night Football.
Tua's down. This is exactly what you did not want to see happen.
It's a hip injury, and that's probably something that could be serious, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Tua suffered a dislocated right hip. He is not expected to play again this season.
An injury that resonated throughout college football on Saturday. Laura Rutledge joins us now here on SportsCenter with the very latest on where Tua stands right now. Laura, good evening.
Good evening, Michael. And yes, Tua Tagovailoa is headed to Houston, Texas with his parents. He's scheduled to have hip surgery tomorrow morning, Monday, and they're going to also look at that hip and evaluate it. But Alabama just releasing a statement from Dr. Lyle Kane, who is their orthopedic surgeon, and it says that they've consulted the best hip doctors, the best specialists around the country to find the absolute best care for Tua. This is what they believe is best for him. So he will remain in Houston as long as needed to make sure that he can recover from that surgery, which again will happen tomorrow. And he's received so much support, guys. He's had visitors throughout the day today. He was here at St. Vincent's Hospital in Birmingham until just a few minutes ago. Jerry Jeudy, one of his star wide receivers, coming by, as well as Raekwon Davis, many others, receiving calls from Nick Saban and other staff members. Head athletic trainer Jeff Allen also stopping by. And overall, it's been a ton of support for Tua and also a lot of optimism. They feel as though this is the best possibility for a full recovery for Tua, and they're trying to make sure they take all those precautions to get him back to playing health and just health in general. But overall, he's in good spirits and ready for this next step as he looks toward recovery for that hip injury.
Yeah, just one of the unfortunate realities of playing major college football. You can get injured, but hopefully, as you said, Laura, the optimism is rewarded because he does still have a bright future ahead of him, maybe at the NFL level. Laura Rutledge joining us here. Vikings overcame a 20-point deficit to beat the Broncos. It was Minnesota's largest comeback in 27 years, and Sunday's action concludes with the Bears at...
With his injury, man, it's going to be tough for Alabama in my eyes. I feel like it's going to be a crazy way for them to get into the college football playoffs. It was able to order to take that fourth spot, but I don't think they will because they're not going to play in the conference championship game. So that's not going to help them to get in. If they was ordinary to get in and play these tight, good defense, get Matt Jones, I feel like they're not going to win in that playoffs. Because Tua is Alabama. He take them forward in that playoffs all the time. He been there. Except that year when he had to replace Jalen Hurts, he came on the scene and helped him win that championship there. Then he got him, the next year he got him back there. You know they lost. But the point is, that's a big part of your team that's gone. That could help Alabama win another one. Yeah, they had a talent. Yeah, they had the guys. But with him lost, Matt Jones going to be the guy and try to win out. But they might don't even get into the college football playoff this year. And I wish him a speedy recovery.
Rams tonight in the Disappointment Bowl. I didn't write that. I just read it. Both teams have already surpassed their loss total from last year.
This is why your brothers beat you up when you were a kid. Because you barely put any effort in.
And here are the A-listers we're hoping to hear from. You see the rundown. We're going to be chasing them. We'll get you all the post-game reaction. It'll be interesting to hear what Tom Brady, Bill Belichick have to say as the Patriots take on the Eagles in a game that Tom said there's some mental scars after losing to them in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Nabil Kareem, Michael leaves. Ryan Clark's going to join us. Tim Hasselback's going to be here. We'll break down all the late games that are in the fourth quarter right now. But you're mentioning the Disappointment Bowl, which you did right, which is good. You got it.
I mean, I didn't call it that, but I understand why someone would, because high expectations for these two teams coming into this season after what happened last year, and both falling short of those expectations. But again, still a huge game for both of these teams going forward. There is Aaron Donald, 5 sacks in his last 4 games. He had just 1 in the previous 5 combined. Of course, his play is key to the success.
Either way it go, whoever win tonight, it's going to be tough to get in the playoffs. Because you still have the Seahawks that's at 8-2. You got the Vikings at 8-3. It's going to be tough to even get one of those spots in the wild card because you fell too far behind. And Seahawks winning all their games right now. The Vikings winning all their games right now. It's going to be a tough year for both of them. They both good teams. They just had some mishaps going through this season. Little hiccups through this season. The Rams at 5-4. The Bears at 4-5. It's going to be a tough hole to get out of to try to make a playoff. Unless Vikings and Seattle start losing, that's the only way I see the Bears and the Rams taking those spots. That's the only way they're going to make it because it's already going to be tough to even get that spot.
Test there for the Rams and Jared Goff on the other side. Offensively, what are they going to do? 4 interceptions in the loss at Chicago last season. Rams were held to just 6 points in that game, but didn't stop them. They went all the way to the Super Bowl last year. What will they do this season? We'll preview on that. We bring in Josina Anderson, who's there on the field. Let's start with this Bears offense here, Josina. Why do they think all of a sudden it's starting to click again?
Well, Michael, even though the Bears were able to get in the win column against Detroit following a 4-game losing streak, and Mitchell Trubisky had the 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in that performance, I talked to Bears wide receiver Allen Robinson this morning, and he feels like their rhythm actually tracks back to the game before against the Eagles in the second half when they were down 19-0, and Mitchell Trubisky led 2 touchdown drives to kind of get their confidence up. He said it's contagious when you see guys starting to make plays. It helps complementary football. So in the Lions game, we were doing a better job of getting first downs on first downs, manageable situations when it comes to down and distance. And when it comes to Mitchell Trubisky, he said he's really doing a good job just handling adversity and the criticism and continuing to do things that keep the coaches confident in him. And lastly, he said in the matchup against Jalen Ramsey today, he's going to rely on his familiarity versus his former teammate when they played against with the Jaguars on the same team in 2017, that he knows he'll be physical, but lastly, he'll use his 6'2", 220-pound frame to make sure he works out advantage today.
Yeah, use that athleticism if you have it. Speaking of athleticism, Todd Gurley, one of the best running backs in the league since he entered, but his usage has been an issue even going all the way back to that run to the Super Bowl last year. Going into this season, it seems like he's been a little frustrated with it. What is the feeling from the team on how he's going to be used, particularly in this game?
Yeah, you're right. And I was at that Super Bowl and saw how little he was used. And even this season, he hasn't had one 100 rushing yard game. And then going back to the loss against the Steelers, he was not utilized in the fourth quarter at all, which led people to ask him, what's up with that? And he just said, I'm used to it, which was a little bit strange. And so people trying to figure out if he's frustrated. So I talked to the Rams running backs coach.
It's just because he with a team that like to throw the football. They know they got a good running back, but they just a throwing team. I mean, he said he used to that because he in that system. They throw him the football, but he with a team that like to throw a lot.
Skippy, I'm like, look, what's up with that? And he said, we went into this season knowing that we were going to use multiple backs. We wanted Todd Gurley to have 65% of the snaps, Malcolm Brown to have 35%. He said, I know this guy for 4 years. He's the same guy every day. He hasn't asked or said anything about his touches. Clearly, we just need to do a better job when it comes to facing the Bears defense today, which is 9th ranked against the run and allowing just 94 rushing yards per game, Michael.
We'll see how that plays out tonight. Josina Anderson with the assignment of the week. Almost 90 degrees there in Los Angeles. Thanks, Josina.
Appreciate you, Michael. Back at you.
All right, NASCAR's final race of the season. We will take you out to Miami.